Get ready. Helena Hustle is now live. Here, we will showcase successful leaders in business, athletics, healthcare, and all things that make Helena a great place to live. Join Dr. Daniel Bridge, owner of Endurance Chiropractic, as he searches out amazing individuals who are making a tremendous difference in this place we call home. So sit back, relax, and get ready to be inspired with the Helena Hustle podcast.
Well, Shaun, thank you so much for joining me today. How'd everything go this weekend with the games?
Our basketball games went really well.
Uh-huh.
It was interesting because we had speech and debate, hosted that as well at our school, so we had that going at the same time as basketball games. So we had a crowded house with everything going on.
Yeah.
Our girls' game was a nail-biter. They won by one, and
Ooh.
Central had a chance to win it with the last-second shot and missed.
Okay.
And then our boys, they fought hard, but
Nice.
came up on the losing end.
Sometimes it goes that way.
It does.
Now, is it not called speech and drama anymore?
Speech, debate, and drama.
Speech, debate, and drama.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
I did one event of that.
yeah.
Just one event, one weekend. I wanted to do more of it, and it just didn't end up working out. But those people are super talented.
They are. Our kids are very impressive to watch. We have our community members come and judge, so it's a pretty big event for us.
That's awesome.
So
Good. Shaun, let's hear your two truths and a lie.
let's see here. I started teaching in 1996. I have taught in 5 states, and I have 3 masters.
I'm going to say you have not taught in 5 states.
You are correct.
How many states have you taught in?
3.
Okay.
So
Montana.
Nevada, and Oregon.
Okay.
So
And how was that?
I started in 96 in Shepherd, Montana. I was a history and health teacher. So it was an interesting start. And then I was football coach. I was there 5 years. I was a head coach for 4. Coached
Football
track.
coach, you said.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I went back to school to get my first master's and started coaching college football for a couple of years.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Where at?
I spent 2 years at Western Montana College,
Uh-huh.
and then I spent a year at the University of San Diego.
What were you coaching?
At Western, I was the linebackers coach, and in San Diego, I was the defensive line coach.
Okay. So you played defense in high school?
I did not. I was an offensive lineman.
Oh, okay.
And I played at Western as an offensive lineman and
Oh, fantastic.
finished up in 1994.
So were you bigger back then?
A little bit.
Okay.
Just a little bit.
Yeah. That's awesome. Did you always know, so you're the athletic director at the East Helena High School?
Yep, I take care of athletics, facilities, and work in transportation.
Yeah, so you just got tons of free time on your hands,
Tons
right?
of free time when I'm not driving a bus route.
Yeah. So did you grow up in Montana?
I grew up in East Helena.
Oh, okay.
Born and raised.
Okay. Was that always the plan to get back here?
I don't know if I've ever really had a plan. I just kind of see what happens and I roll with it and go.
That's a good way to do it.
But it was good to come back.
Sometimes you've got this plan that you just want to force, and you might miss out on opportunities, doors that God might be opening for you. You're like, nope, I've got a plan. I'm going to stick to it. So
it's interesting because I didn't think I'd ever come back to education, and I didn't ever expect East Helena to have a high school. So
when you say come back to education, what do you mean by that?
I was planning on, just coaching college football for the rest of my life.
Oh,
and
gotcha.
I had a different path that I took instead.
Yeah. What are your thoughts today on the college football? And this ties into what you're dealing with. You're preparing student athletes to go on to the next level, whether they're going to be playing at the next level or just going to college. But, with the whole NIL and all the money that college athletes are making, and you see recently the Oklahoma quarterback and Ohio State quarterback, they're getting plenty of playing time. They're not transferring for that, but you got to imagine they're getting paid big dollars to go somewhere else. How do you see
I
that?
think what's interesting is they're not getting paid big dollars considering what those schools are making, what those coaches are making. If you put it in perspective.
Absolutely. The NCAA is probably pretty corrupt,
I was reading today, I think it's going to be $2 billion they'll make off the TV deals next year for the playoffs, or their TV deal. There's a lot of money that they're having
off of the backs of the kids.
Yeah,
which I totally agree with. But also, I wonder if there's a better system so that people aren't just going everywhere all the time.
Well, they're working on it, but I think the biggest good thing I think for the players is a coach can up and leave anytime and start working the next day at a different job. But they're told they have to sit for a year.
Yeah,
and,
that's true.
So, I mean, I think it kind of levels the playing field, but
I wonder if like less rules and just teams doing a better job of incentivizing their players to stay is maybe the answer.
I think, I was reading today, they're trying to work a new deal. They're going to make another division where a person can write a check to the school, and that check can go to either the athletes or it can go to their facilities or their coaches. So it'll be interesting. It's a moneymaker. It's not about athletics anymore.
Right.
It's about how much money you can bring into your school. And
Sure.
Unfortunately.
Right.
But.
Yeah. So your career path, at what point did you picture yourself being an athletic director? Was that an early goal of yours?
Well, yeah. When I got out of teaching in 2001, I went to MSU Billings to get my master's in sports management. So
That was your first master's?
Yeah.
Sports
So
management.
I wanted to focus on, I thought I'd either be a college coach or transition into being an athletic director at the college level at some level, somewhere. So.
And what are your other two masters in?
I have one in educational leadership, so I can have my principal's endorsement, and then I have one in autism spectrum disorders.
Okay.
So I've been a special ed teacher for the majority of my teaching career.
Okay. And then what was the motivation to get that autism management?
When I was teaching in Oregon, for the pay scale, I was all the way over on their pay scale and all the way down. So in order to make more money, if you go get a degree in something that's beneficial to the school, you'd get another bump.
Oh, fantastic.
So it was like, and then I left.
Yeah. So with the leadership masters, has that come in handy being a leader?
Oh, definitely. I mean, it was very helpful, and then the experiences of all the years in athletics has been very beneficial as well.
When you're bringing diverse groups of people together and leading them, what lessons have you learned in that?
I think the biggest thing is just be honest with our coaches. I'm always very honest, and I try and be, I'm there for them. Not, I want to help them grow their programs as best I can. And, let's build some great programs in East Helena.
Being honest is easier said than done when you have to have those tough conversations with somebody, because you want to be supportive, but sometimes you have to also, provide certain direction that somebody might not want to receive.
I've had a conversation like that just recently, and it's with our coaches, though. I tell them I'm always going to be honest. I'm not going to do things behind your back. If I think we need a change, I'll tell you first. We have all of our coaches hired, and I will not go out and actively recruit coaches to replace them, and make it a surprise. I'll say, after the end of each season, we sit down and we do an evaluation and we go over everything that's good, bad, on my end and their end, because I want feedback as well on how I can help them get better, how I can do my job better. And so, at the end of those conversations, I was like, are you the best fit? Why do you think you are for the best fit for this program? Or do we need to open it up and look at a different direction?
Well, I'm sure your coaches appreciate that straightforward approach, because, people are going to have those tough conversations, but to know that someone's being, upfront with you, honest with you, not going behind your back, that means everything.
I think so. I mean, that's the only thing you can do is be totally truthful and honest with people. And, we've hired these coaches, and we want to give them as much support as possible so they can be successful.
Right. Do you have much interaction with the athletes themselves, or?
Not as much as I'd like. I don't see, now that I used to be the vice principal and the athletic director both. And so I interact with our students a lot more, and I try and interact with as many of them as I can, because that's the heart of our program is our kids. So.
Yeah. Walk us through just some day-to-day responsibilities that you have as an athletic director.
So today's day, I filled out some bus requests for transportation. I counted the money from this past weekend's games so I could get that deposited. I had to go visit with our transportation supervisor about busing for the week, which I usually check. We talk to make sure we have buses for the week. I went and visited some local businesses about some opportunities for them to have. I'm working on getting those guys, like our local grocery store, to get a menu for teams that visit so they could possibly buy their dinners there. You know, so I mean, I do a lot of community relation type stuff.
Can you tell me more about that? I know you guys are really involved in the community.
We are. You know, if you drive down East Helena, our art club painted all the windows for homecoming. I think I'm pretty sure they've been painting the Christmas decorations in some of them. They do a lot of murals in businesses in town for our football team. They do all of our programs. You know, that's one of our biggest pushes is get out in the community and do some things to support our community. You know, I think football did. They do a cleanup day during the football season. Our volleyball team had a cleanup day. They created a lost and found to clean up locker rooms and get some clothes out of there. You know, it's just anything to, you know, I mean, we have such great community support in East Helena that I want our kids to always be seen in a good light.
Right.
So
it's such a symbiotic relationship. You know, the crowd can win a game a lot of times. It can be the difference maker.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, at our home games, we have great crowd turnout by the local community. They're an awesome support group.
Yeah. Well, that's good. People supporting the community and vice versa. So it sounds like you've got a lot of spinning plates.
I'm busy during the day.
What do you do to keep yourself organized?
Well, I have an amazing activities secretary that does a lot of the work for me.
Nice.
So Janie Taylor does so much for me that it's amazing.
She keeps you pointed in the right direction and everything.
She does. You know, she makes sure I know what's going on, and sometimes I forgot to let her know what's going on, but she's on top of it. She does a lot of our hotel rooms. She makes sure they're scheduled. She makes sure the rooming lists are sent. You know, she's making sure I have everything in that I need. You know, we're getting ready to do a round of grade checks, so she's getting all that information out to our coaches, so keep our kids eligible. And
sounds like I got to have her on here.
She's amazing.
Find out how to be so organized.
I know.
It's a skill some people have, and I'm getting better at it.
Me too.
Yeah. You know, I use Google Calendar and sticky notes. Those help, but it's tough. I
have a Google Calendar with all of our facility scheduling, and it's about 100 different colors, and because we have 5 buildings we have to take care of, and so it works okay at times, but sometimes it's just calendars are good, but you know, I send out weekly ones for all the facilities to different groups. Plus, we have to schedule all of our sporting practices around them. And
it's a lot of coordination.
We have our band concerts, music concerts this month, so we have a lot of limited gym space.
Right.
So,
back talking with the community, before we hit record, you had mentioned that you guys have a raffle going on? Yeah,
our biggest fundraiser this year is Helena Motors donated us a HRV car.
Dang.
Between us, Helena High, and Capitol High to raffle off for the year. So we've been selling tickets for that. We'll be selling them up until the end of January, because the drawing will be February 1st at the Helena Capitol Crosstown game.
Fantastic.
So it's exciting.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, Helena Motors donated the car. They printed the tickets. So all we get the profit. They don't benefit any money off of it.
Oh, wow.
So it just all the money goes right back into our activities accounts. So it benefits our kids.
Where can people buy tickets?
You can see me at the high school. I'm actually going to start a GoFam page where you can buy it online and then email me where you want me to send your ticket stub. So
nice.
I'm working on really getting it out there.
Technology makes things pretty slick.
It's good and bad some days, but yeah. So
how has that, how have you seen technology making an impact on the student athlete in terms of training, nutrition, you know, access to education?
I think the biggest change is the use of like Huddle, that our kids are able to put out their own scouting tapes, you know, because all of our games are filmed.
Right.
So then they make their highlights and stuff, you know. I mean, the internet's just phenomenal with information on training and things that didn't exist when I was going to school.
Right.
You know, I thought Mountain Dew was the best hydration there was, and I guess it isn't. But
Sprite, right?
Sprite.
Grant Hill drinks Sprite.
But, you know, I mean, I think coaches are doing a better job nowadays. You know, they understand it. They spend a lot of time with our kids. You know, I mean, they have, you know, they're working with these guys year round now. I mean, they're really pushing, you know, drink a lot of water, you know, eat the right foods, get enough sleep, and limit your screen time. You know, and I think
Huge problem.
That's a huge problem. But I mean, everything's there if you want answers.
Yeah.
You know, if you have questions, you can just Google it. You know, that you didn't have in the past. So you'd have to actually read a book.
Right.
So
when I was training, you know, I was a runner, and we just went out and we ran hard, and we'd do different drills. But, you know, nowadays a lot of the emphasis is on, you know, getting enough rest is just as important as pushing yourself hard enough, because you can burn out and you can work so hard that you don't give your body a chance to really get better. And yeah, things evolve and records are just getting broken as we get better and better and better.
you know, that's exciting. I think that's what the purpose of records is. Let this next group break this set of records. Everything is meant to be broken, in my opinion. You know, that's what's good for the game.
Yeah, it's exciting too.
You know, and
I think for the record holder, it's exciting to see a record get broken too.
So,
yeah. Now, if you had, well, actually, I'm going to ask this: what memorable things have happened when you're thinking about your career? What are some funny things or just memorable things that stand out to you?
I think the most memorable things for me is just the people I met in my career as a player, as a coach, as a teacher. Because all these students, you're going to know these students a lot longer as a person than as students. You know, I have good relationships. My first students are actually in their mid-40s.
Okay.
So, I mean, I've known some people a lot. I mean, I was fortunate we've had some kids that I actually student taught. Their kids are now going through East Helena.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, it's kind of interesting to see, you know, you've been in education a long time.
Yeah.
when you start seeing your students.
Right.
So, I mean, I think just the relationships is the best thing for me. So.
Yeah. I had some of the same, when I went to chiropractic school, I went to, it's called Logan University. It's just outside of St. Louis. And there was at least there was probably at least 5 teachers there that taught my dad. My dad's a chiropractor too. And yeah, circle life goes on, right?
Yeah. You know, it's exciting to see what these guys are going to do with their futures. So.
Yeah. Okay. So somebody who's thinking about getting into education, coaching, or athletic directing, maybe specifically, what pieces of advice would you give them?
You know, education is tough right now, I think. I mean, I love it. I've been doing it my whole life. I mean, if it's something that's your passion, you want to work with people, and, you know, there's really no easy day, I don't think. You know, there's always tough decisions to make. There's always some issues that come up. But, I mean, if you really want to make a difference, you know, get an education. You know, we're lacking educators right now. I mean, that's the biggest thing. I mean, it's not the best pay. And, I mean, I guess we need to get some advocates to get our pay to, you know, find more funding sources for our educators. You know, because I think our staff at East Helena has got a reputation for doing a phenomenal job. And we're, you know, to keep those people is the key. You know, you want to keep a continuity, you know, of our staff. You know, at the high school, we've hired all these people for the most part. I mean, we're a young staff. If we can keep that staff there for 30 years, you're going to see a lot of good things happen, you know. So
is that important, like giving teachers time to find their groove and build year after year on their curriculum?
I think so. I mean, I know one of the biggest, I mean, they have a lot of, you know, professional learning community time, you know, so people can collaborate with each other, which is helpful. Nowadays, that wasn't the case when I started teaching, you know, so I think that's helpful. You know, there's chances to see other teachers teach so you can see how they do it. And I think we have some good mentors right now that are helping our younger teachers.
That's great.
So.
Okay. Well, Shaun, thank you so much. Any last shout outs you want to give for East Helena?
You know, just keep coming out to support us. You know, I mean, I think we have some good things coming up. I mean, all of our programs have been improving each year. Yeah. And we're excited for the future.
Yeah. So the high school is how old now?
It's our 5th year.
5th.
So this will be our 2nd group of seniors.
Cool. So yeah, congrats. Okay. Well, thanks a lot, Shaun.
I appreciate your time.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for tuning in to this episode of the Helena Hustle podcast. If you're enjoying the show, Please feel free to rate, subscribe, and leave a review wherever you listen to your podcasts. That helps others find the show, and we greatly appreciate it. Once again, thanks for joining us, and we'll catch you in the next episode of the Helena Hustle Podcast.